Hello, and welcome to Carolina Classrooms. I'm Kimberly Singletary. In this episode, we take a look at not only the teacher shortage and retention problem, but possible solutions. We searched the state and even visited Finland to find possible answers. At the beginning of 2019, South Carolina House Speaker Jay Lucas proposed Education Reform Bill H. 3759. Community members, administrators, and teachers across South Carolina were encouraged to offer their feedback on the proposed bill at a K-12 subcommittee hearing.
All right, and I'm going to make one final point here before I yield the floor, and that is a point concerning teacher retention, and I'll bring my personal story into this. I'm a 12th year teacher, as I said, with a master's degree, a national board certification, and 2 certifications to teach advanced placement courses. I host 2 extracurricular clubs at my school, Blythewood High School, Model United Nations and the Cyber Patriots. I'm an American Geographical Society Teacher Fellow this year, and I'm Vice President of the Richland County Education Association. I tell you this not to pat myself on the back, but to suggest that I am perhaps a teacher you would like to retain in South Carolina.
Marc Dyer, a social studies teacher at Blythewood High School, loves being a teacher, but he admits he has felt frustrated in trying to do the best for his students.
I really feel like my place is in the classroom with students. Like, I like it, it feels natural, it's super rewarding, it's fulfilling, like I said. It's just, sometimes the frustrations are so unbearable. And it's not the kids, you know what I mean? It's never the kids. It's always something else.
Sarah, the Center for Educator Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement, reported 7,300 teachers in South Carolina left the classroom for the 2017 and 2018 school year. 27% of these teachers reportedly went to teach in another South Carolina public school district. 26% retired. And 20% of the teachers who left did so because of a personal choice. We spoke with House Representative Neil Collins about South Carolina's teacher shortage and retention challenge and the proposed ed reform bill.
I think for recruitment and retention, the bill obviously has the outlook that recruitment and retention is a major issue in South Carolina. I think the bill has a couple provisions that would encourage retention of those teachers. There's provision of paying mileage, for example. And from a statewide perspective, the second part of that, what's more concerning than the 5,300 teachers leaving, in my opinion, is the 2,000 teachers transferring districts. Untold costs, Sarah puts it at about $16,000 per teacher for them to lose and transfer districts.
As a result of the state choosing to no longer fund the National Board stipend in last year's legislative session, I am now set to lose $7,500 in pay starting in 2021. The stipend I have been receiving as a National Board teacher allows for a livable wage. Without it, I've been wrestling with the idea of leaving the classroom. I love the classroom. I do not want to leave.
Will Mr. Dyer remain in the classroom? We will come back to him later to find out. But now, we'll take a look at how we can keep great teachers like Mr. Dyer in the classroom. We start with possible solutions we found in Finland. In October 2018, South Carolina ETV joined a group of South Carolina educators on a trip to Finland organized by the Riley Institute at Furman University.
We wanted to go to Finland because we wanted to bring together some of our partners in public education from across the state and go to Finland to come to understand how it is that a nation whose education practices are so different from ours, where children start school later, where reading instruction begins later, where teachers have so much more autonomy and so much less standards and strictures that they have to obey, where school days are shorter, where there is less homework. With all of those things in place, how is it that this nation consistently scores in the top 10 in the international rankings of educational attainment? compared to the United States, where it seems that there are so many more supports and standards in place, where we are consistently somewhere in the 30s.
One of the things that I knew about Finland was its exceptional ranking on the PISA international test, and wanted to learn more about what were the conditions that were helping them create such success on that particular measure.
In the past, many have turned to countries like Finland for answers to their educational challenges, specifically looking at their student achievement. However, what we found to be quite possibly the driving force to Finland's educational success didn't start with the students. The success of Finland's educational system is centered around the offering of social services, the lack of testing, and what seemed primary, the culture of the treatment of their teachers.
In Finland, autonomy is huge when it comes to teaching and educators in general. The Finnish system trusts the teachers in Finland. They trust the administrators at the local level. And that is a sign of I think, a very sought after and elevated profession, is the trust you have for somebody to do their job and to do it without a whole lot of restrictions and red tape and things that may suck up their time.
As parents make it clear, there is no question, Finland has some of the highest respect and trust of their teachers.
This is a hard question to answer because I didn't know that there could be, why wouldn't you trust your teachers? Yeah, I think that for most Finns, it just wouldn't even cross your mind not to trust your teachers, to be competent and good people to do what they're supposed to do.
This culture of trust between parents and educators is ingrained as early as their teacher education training.
In Finland, we more emphasize trust between different experts and trust on different level of administration, and also, of course, trust. We trust our teachers that they have competencies to do their work in the best possible way.
Do you feel like you trust your children's teachers?
Oh, interesting question, of course. Yes.
Provide them the best education?
Yes, they are so educated, and if there would be a situation that I somehow don't trust, I think I should speak to the head of the school and speak to the other parents, and I haven't had the situation that I don't trust these.
I was very fortunate to be able to go to Finland. I thought that it was a very worthwhile trip. For 5 straight days we were in different settings in different schools in different regions of the country. So I thought that we were able to get a good look at their system, actually from even sort of birth all the way through college. I thought we had a good exposure to it. And going into it, I thought that there were things that probably we couldn't learn from Finland, knowing their outputs and how far advanced they are in outputs compared to South Carolina. But I was intrigued by the similarities as far as population and size of the country, and so I was hoping that we would be able to take away some things, and I thought we did as a group. The teachers, all of them, when I walked into a classroom, whether it was basically their kindergarten or whether it was basically their 12th grade, I felt like I was in a college classroom, that the teacher was well prepared, was confident, was experienced, and had that professionalism to them that I felt just walking into the classroom. And again, I think that's something that we can easily do here in South Carolina, and it's more of a culture change than anything.
The culture of teacher trust is of primary importance in Finland, almost as important as the way Finland provides for its students. For teachers to be able to do their job, they need students to come to school healthy in mind and body. To assist with this, the Finnish government provides a wealth of social services to their students. To the Finns, student preparation is key, and it starts for Finland at birth.
The Finnish maternity leave is 10 months. So 1 month before the due date is when you start your maternity leave, so that you have time to get ready for the birth and to rest up and do all the things you need to do. So 1 month before the baby is born, that's when maternity leave starts. Yeah, and then after that there are 9 months of maternity leave where the wish is that the mother would stay home with the child and they could bond really well.
You get paid like almost, I think it was almost full salary for 9 months. That's the maternity leave time. And after that, you can still stay home.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, if you want to bring your child to daycare, they won't take your baby, so you're gonna have to find a private arrangement.
If you do it before the...
Yeah, so if you wanted to go back to work after 3 months, say, you would have to completely find your own babysitter because the daycare centers won't take any babies like under the age of 9 months. The kindergarten is free, it's like first grade.
Okay.
Yeah. Kindergarten. If you bring your children to the daycare centers,
The daycare
centers.
0 to 5. Or
Yeah,
1 to 5.
yeah. Yeah, that would be before kindergarten. That you have to pay for, and that is, the payments depend on your income. The most that we ever paid for daycare, and I was a working mom, and we have a good income, it was less than 500 euros a month. Maybe it was like 400 euros a month.
The fees in daycare depending on what are the family incomes and how many children are in the daycare. Nowadays, preschool is free in the whole country, and also this 5 years old daycare is free of charge. I don't want to insult you, but we are more equal society than USA. I have to tell you what I've noticed and read and understood. So in the stars, we are a smaller nation and we're more equal. The difference is you are multicultural and you are whatever. You have different levels of social groups based on economics and where do you... We have these differences here in Finland are not so big, but still there are. And we are trying to put we have these general support, extensive support, and special support. And we believe that if we give support for the needs for the individual child, we are getting better results in the future.
The investment in social services for children in Finland is readily available through such places as the shopping mall.
Our official name is Iso Omena Service Center. Iso Omena is the name of this shopping center, and as we're placed here, it's also in our official name, but we are service center. The city of Espoo came with the idea of organizing the services like we do here in the service center, so actually put them to the same place physically under the same roof. And with the idea that we are situated where the people are moving already. So in this case, we're in a shopping center. What we have here is 9 different service units. 6 of them are from the city itself, and then there are a couple which are from the municipal organizations, and 1 is national, which is the Finnish Social Security Institution. So here is the list. We have library, we have youth services, service point, maternity and child care clinic, health center, mental health and substance abuse services, and this Kela, Finnish Social Security Institution, then laboratory and medical imaging. Everything under the same roof. And they actually now opened also youth service for mental service, which is open at the evening because that's the time when the young people are more available, obviously because they need to go to school or things like that.
While social services for students may be common, what's less common in Finland is student testing. What's a school without testing? A concept that may seem unimaginable to some, but it is the norm for Finnish students and teachers.
There should be many different ways to assess, so versatile assessment practices. Not only the test in the end, that's history and hopefully has been a history already for some time. But more and more we want to emphasize that there should be different ways to assessment, and the assessment should happen all the time. The pupils are not compared with each other. The pupils are compared with himself or herself.
And so the teacher can then say, if the teacher says this kid knows it and I know this because of this method, that's,
exactly.
that's
Yes.
good enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The teacher can use different assessment.
Going back to No Child Left Behind, the testing mandates, and specifically not only holding kids accountable, but holding schools and teachers accountable by student performance on tests. It's a very American reform. In Finland, there's no teacher accountability. There's no standardized testing until the upper grades. It's hard for us even to imagine, well, how do you know that you have a good teacher?
We have normal tests, like in mathematics, of course, and in Finnish we have grammar tests and also in English, but then in other subjects we kind of assess that they do projects or some things for a longer period of time, or we assess their group work. They can even do tests in group or test with their study books and all the different kind of methods. And then there are some standardized tests in the end of the semester for English and Finnish and maths. But otherwise we can decide throughout the whole year what kind of testing we want to do and what is good for the students according to their age level. I think that most of the students and parents, they think that we are the experts and they really appreciate the job that we do.
We learned a lot visiting Finland. We left not exactly sure of what is the driving force in helping Finland retain and recruit teachers. Could it be the culture of teacher trust, the offering of social services, or perhaps less testing? Perhaps it has something to do with the fact that Finnish teachers are heavily involved in the decisions of all of the above.
They were able to get better results by trusting teachers. And many of our methods, many of the rationales for having teacher accountability was based on mistrust and distrust and not trusting teachers to be professionals. There are things that we know from research that make any kind of work meaningful. And it can be, being able to see the results of your work, having a cool purpose and meaningful purpose to your job, but also autonomy. And all of those things are in short supply for teachers. We have a recruitment and retention problem because the work environment that we expect teachers to go into is just not kind. So why would I want to choose to go into schools when I'm not going to be given autonomy, when nobody's going to trust me, and when there are the purpose, many of my teachers go into teaching because they want to help children. But that doesn't even come up. Are the parents pleased? Are test scores? And so many of the reasons that would motivate people to become teachers are not part of teachers' lived daily lives. You can't expect to recruit talented, capable people if you don't give them a work environment where they can use that capacity.
In 2019, teachers marched to the State House to have their voices heard.
I teach, I vote. I teach, I vote. I teach.
Teacher Marc Dyer agrees that teacher voices are a critical part of the conversation.
And so there's a lot of voices outside of the classroom telling teachers what they should and shouldn't be doing. Right? So there are school boards setting academic expectations for students that they themselves don't teach. There are parents who might have unrealistic expectations about what their students can and can't achieve. And there are school administrators who are interested in making sure that the school looks as good as possible, that school report cards are in tip-top shape. And again, that drives a lot of choices that affect teachers in the classroom. And it's not that I think teachers should have the sole authority on determining what is good for students. I don't think that at all, but I do think that teachers should have a voice in the conversation. And oftentimes teachers' voices are shoved to the background of the conversation.
There is not a question that there are few things we can learn from Finland. But what did we learn? Playtime is beneficial, and more breaks throughout the school day for young students are doable, as one school district in Pickens has already demonstrated.
Finnish Fridays, now my dissertation was on scheduling, and so I was really intrigued in Finland by the fact that they have 45 minutes of class and 15 minutes of recess the entire day in grades 1 through 6. And so I just asked a couple principals to try it out just to see what works. And we're really not trying to make decisions for a couple of years. We're trying to what works and what helps kids. Because in Finland, the teachers stress that child psychology, child development requires us to allow kids to move. And so after 45 minutes, they go to recess, and then after 15 minutes, they come back in, they're ready to learn. And so not only are we teaching better learning skills, but learning how to go outside, how to come back in, how to self-regulate. If you talk to most employers in South Carolina, in America, the businesses want soft skills, how to relate to other kids. And if we wait to high school, we've waited too long. And so Finnish Fridays was more than just unstructured play. It was about the soft skills of learning to integrate kids, to let them play with each other, and to let them be kids, and then come back in. And we found that there's less visits to the nurse. There's less inattention. And we think there's an increased atmosphere. And we didn't have one parent complaint. Matter of fact, most parents wanted this in the other schools. And so we're just trying to learn how much is too much in our system. And so we've given the principals the flexibility to say, try it, and let the kids try it, let the teachers try it, give us feedback. And so it's gone very well.
We need to get more people into places like Finland and other nations where they are successfully addressing public education in a complicated context to learn from other contexts and see what we can do here in South Carolina, and to share the successes that we have in South Carolina, to share what we are able to do now with project-based learning, to share what we're doing with Montessori in South Carolina. South Carolina has the largest public Montessori program in the nation, and that's not per capita, that is in flat numbers, and we can share those pieces with people internationally. So to be able to think about having an ongoing dialogue with other nations around what's working in public education and how we can do what's best for our kids is an exciting and energizing prospect.
While what we learned from Finland is noteworthy, there are also a few things we are already doing correctly to retain teachers. We look lastly at the University of South Carolina's Carolina TIP program. This program serves as a bridge of support for new teachers collaborating with school districts across the state.
The Carolina Teacher Induction Program is a university-based induction program out of the College of Education in the University of South Carolina. Carolina TIP is designed to be a bridge to provide support to our recent graduates as they transition from the university classroom to having and leading a classroom of their own.
I think the Carolina TIP program has really helped our teachers grow as professionals. They collaborate with other colleagues, they talk about things that challenge them, and they also talk about solutions and strategies to help improve their instruction.
We wish we could get into classrooms more. We wish we could provide differentiated feedback. Carolina TIP is just that perfect piece to come in, establish those relationships, get into those classrooms so that we can focus on the business of strengthening the teachers within what they need to know to be successful in the district, while we have the partnership of Carolina Tip strengthening what they need to know to be successful in the classroom and feel like valued professionals.
I believe the program is really going to help with the teacher retention problem here in our state, because I know for me, it's given me the confidence that I'm going to need to get through anything.
The proposed education reform bill did not pass at the close of the legislative session in the spring. Lawmakers in South Carolina are prepared to tackle education reform when sessions begin this fall.
It's going to be a multi-year type of solution, but we've started, and that should be a good thing for a lot of people.
I'm looking forward to the next school year. I have a lot on my plate. Been doing a lot of work this summer to prepare for the upcoming school year. I love being in the classroom. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't want to leave. I don't want to become an administrator like I see so many other teachers become, and I can't imagine what else I would be doing. I think I'm pretty good at what I do, and so it's something that I'm passionate about, and I want to continue to practice my teaching, I guess. But in the next several years, because I don't have a family in South Carolina, I don't have kids of my own, there's nothing that roots me here, and so it could very well be that there are opportunities that present themselves outside of the state in education or in some other profession that I might take. It's sad that I have to even do any thinking about what my future entails. I wish I felt supported as an educator in this state such that I could continue doing what I love, but time will tell.
Thank you for joining us tonight for another episode of Carolina Classrooms. Bye-bye.